It's Mike with Mike Jones Knife and Tool, and today I'm going to start my restoration on this small broad axe. Single beveled. As you can see, it's offset a little bit. There you go. As you can see, it's offset a little bit. The one side's flat. It's a single bevel. It's only ground on this side like a chisel, and it's made for hand hewing logs, flattening out one or more sides of them. It's a lot smaller than others that I've seen, others that are huge and like 8 to 10 to 12 pounds. This is just a little guy, which is nice for just doing finer hewing work. Yeah, first things first, we're going to take the handle out. This is definitely not the original handle. So this is, like I say, this is not the original handle. As you can see, it's not sitting right. The handle should be up here somewhere. And it's fit terribly, and I know that a Swedish axe company wouldn't let this kind of thing happen. So it's just probably a handle off some old hatchet or something that whoever owned it before me had to throw in there. He also ground it a little bit on the back side there. You can see he put like a tiny bevel on it, whereas that should be totally flat. I'm hoping I can clean that up a little bit. But let's get the handle out first. So because this handle is fairly crappy and pretty beat up, I'm just going to saw it off with a handsaw and then pound out the little bit that's left in the eye. There is a small metal step wedge in there, so I'll try to save that anyway. Just got an old cold chisel that I'm going to pound this out with. There we go. So there's a little bit of surface rust on this guy. I'm probably just going to blast it off really gently with this plastic disc that I've got. Because it's plastic and it's not like a flap disc or an actual abrasive compound, it doesn't actually dig into the metal and remove steel itself. It will still get hot, so you got to be careful. You don't want to ruin the temper of your edge, but it works really nice just to clean off rust, or I'm using it to remove the paint off of the processor bars for the bushfuckers too. These work really well. You gotta suit up. So this is something interesting that I didn't notice until I actually got the handle off of the axe, is that it's pretty symmetrical one way or the other. It almost looks like, I'm not sure if this is true or not, but it almost looks like you could handle it either way and change it from a left-handed axe to a right-handed axe. That's interesting. I'm going to have to look into that. Also, it's got all this stuff that looks like pitting. It looks like it's been rusted and pitted. It's not actually. That's all original from the original forging of the axe. These things are hand forged in Sweden, and it's actually got all the original paint is still down inside all the little depressions and dimples in it, which is pretty cool. Regardless of which way you're going to swing this thing, the next thing to do is to grind a proper bevel on it. With anything that has a flat edge, like anything chisel ground, like a chisel, I would always flatten out the back side, the flat side first, and then work on the actual ground bevel edge. So as you can see, I got this guy chalked up in my vise. I'm going to be using this stone with oil in it. You could use a regular water stone with water. This one just happens to already have oil in it. You want to keep her nice and flat in relation to the entire axe face, and we're just trying to take off as much of this bevel in here that somebody ground in with a bench grinder as I can. Anytime you feel like your stone's getting clogged up and it's just sliding, it's not really grabbing, it's probably just full of grit, which is a good thing. It means that it's working, but just apply more water, oil, or whatever, and that actually helps clean it out, keep it sharp. So that's about as flat as I feel I am going to get the back of this thing. You can see there's a couple of low spots in there where the stone wasn't hitting. That's fine. I just wanted to get this nice and clean. And yeah, I cheated a little bit with a file, but not too much. I was never going to get that whole little micro bevel off by flattening the whole back of this. Generally, the way to really do it is to grind this side and take that bevel back, keeping a consistent angle until you grind off that much material in this direction, basically, if you understand. So it's quite a bit of material to move. I'm not sure if I'm going to get all the way. I'd feel really bad about taking that much material off of this axe. We'll see how it goes. I'm going to take it to the whetstone, grind down this bevel, clean it up, make it more consistent. This was hit with that bench grinder as well, so I'm going to just correct all of that, make it nice, and see where I'm at there. So onto the whetstone. And if I'm wearing a different shirt, it's because it's a different day. Well, I got my whetstone and I got my axe head, I got some tunes, and it's a beautiful day, so I brought the old girl outside, and it's time to put a bevel back on this thing. Alright. Looking not bad now. Pretty smooth. You'll notice I was kind of rocking it on the wheel there. That's just to try to maintain that convex shape to it. Because it's a round wheel, it's a radius, it has a tendency to actually grind a hollow into it, like a concave. And so I'm just trying to keep it axe shaped. I get that bump on the back there. That adds a lot of strength to the edge, having that beef behind it there. But anyways, she's looking good now. The tendency is to go and put just a beauty polished edge on this thing right away. Don't do that. Sharpen it last. We're going to put a handle on it next, and then we're going to build a leather mask for it, and then we're going to sharpen it. Don't sharpen it until you're done working with it.